You're watching the Live Well, brought to you by Rapala.
Hey, welcome to the Live Well, presented by Rapala. And it seems like it's been a long, long time, Ronnie, since this season started, this 23 season down in Florida, South Florida, up through South Carolina, to Alabama, to Texas, and now we are ready for it, the final leg of this season, the Northern Swing. And Ronnie, we're starting it out with the AFTCO Bassmaster Elite at a place, well, we all know about this iconic fishery, Lake St. Clair. When it is on, I mean, it is almost unbeatable.
It is one of the best smallmouth lakes in the country. It's basically Lake Okeechobee North, the way it maps out. A big natural bowl, not many contour changes, a lot different than the other places that we'll fish for smallmouth on the Bassmaster Elite Series. Some of these best anglers, Seth Fider, Chad Pipkins, there's really no place you can warm up and like get ready for St. Clair because it's so different than others. But like you said, one of the best places. And honestly, Tommy, we haven't seen forward-facing sonar dominate much. We will start to see more of that play for the Northern Swing.
That's going to come up way bigger, you're saying.
Lake St. Clair is one of the best forward-facing sonar lakes just because there's not many contours, there's not much structure for those fish to necessarily lock down on. There's not boulders galore everywhere like some other places. These fish roam, they chase schools of bait, they may get on goby. There's a lot of different other things they can do, but keeping your eyes pegged to that graph at times will keep you located with it. But like you said, a lot of history at St. Clair and excited to get back. It's been a month and a half break. It's been,
oh my God,
I think they forgot how to fish. They're going to have to really warm up.
End the break, start the fishing. Now, with that sonar, maybe they won't have to run around so much. We look at our last two winners there in 2020, in elite events, 2020 and 2017. These were guys in Christie and Weidler who bunkered in. They did not move around a lot. That seems to be a key. And you know, this lake is meant to sort of defeat pressure by being featureless and flat. And now we've got this technology, as you say, it's going to change things.
I got to the pleasure of talking to Chad Pipkins, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro. He's one right there, you know, on the Detroit River in Lake St. Clair, Lake Erie adjacent. He says that there's places that show up at St. Clair. It's different every time. There is a quarter to half mile stretch, maybe a mile stretch, where the biggest fish in the lake gather. And if you find that, you're going to be on 4 to 5 pounders the whole week. We saw Jason Christie doing that with a tube. You see Bill Weidler bobbing around, sitting on his butt seat on the front of the boat with a drop shot, being able to catch some of these fish as well. If you find that key area, obviously it can go down for you, but how many other people will find that? In years past, Tommy, you mentioned it, 2020, 2019, times like that, we haven't had the opportunity to go to Canada. We haven't had the opportunity to go to Lake Huron, Lake Erie. All three of these lakes will be in play. You'll have both rivers that connect Erie to St. Clair and the St. Clair River that connects to Lake Huron. You'll have all of those places in play. You'll have Canada as well. This will be bigger playing field than we've had the last couple times. And honestly, it's with our new Elite Series field since 2019. Some of these guys haven't got to explore these other places, but you can kind of pick your poison, get away from the crowd, maybe fish some rock structures in Erie or Huron. If you want to fish the featureless, keep your eyes on your graph, maybe fish in a crowd, but anyone's ball game, you could stay at Lake St. Clair for sure.
Yeah. We rarely talk about storylines on this particular program right here on the Live Well, but there are a lot of interesting ones, including Jason Christie, the winner back in 2017. Back then, he was locked in a race with Palnick for Angler of the Year. That was a tough race. He's got another sort of mountain to climb. This time, he is not qualified for the Classic in his hometown of Tulsa on Grand Lake of the Cherokees. That's maybe a smaller mountain to climb, but will be worth watching.
I talked to Jason Christie on the phone the other day and said, hey, are you going to be fishing the final Central Open, the Lake of the Ozarks event? He said, if I don't have to, I won't be, and that'll be well after the Elite season ends, so we will know if he's qualified for the Classic. He wants to get back to Grand. I know Luke Palmer, not far from him in the standings as well, wants to get back to be able to have a chance in their home state at the Classic. And you talked about the storylines. Our top 10 in points, the Angler of the Year race, there may be, you know, 89, 90 points separating first to 10th. There really aren't any smallmouth savants until you get down to number 10. Can someone make up 90 points like Jay Shakurit and maybe win Angler of the Year? Guys like Kyle Welcher, Brandon Cobb, John Cox notoriously haven't been stellar at smallmouth. But man, when you're fishing so good, it could be your year.
It's coming up July 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, the AFTCO Bassmaster Elite on Lake St. Clair, and that for you is the Live Well.